name's Adil Khan. I'm a group leader at King's College London, and I will tell you a bit about my personal journey to becoming a scientist, which, as is true for all personal trajectories, it was very heavily influenced by random chance encounters and changes in plans, as you'll see. So I was born and brought up in India. I did all my education there. In school, I enjoyed reading a lot, and at some point, I read some very nice popular science books, particularly about, some about quantum physics, which I enjoyed a lot, even though I didn't understand most of what was in it. But it got me interested in science beyond what we were taught in the classroom. But even more influential was an environmental magazine called Down to Earth, which is still published, in fact. And this really excellent magazine got me very interested in environmental issues. And subsequently also read some books and essays about environmental issues. And the result was that when I entered university, I was determined to make a career in environmental studies. But then in university, during my bachelor's, I made friends with some people who were really into science and with whom I really enjoyed talking about science and exploring scientific questions together with them. And so over the course of that year, I realized that I was actually much more interested in studying basic science than in environmental questions. And so I applied for a few summer internships in labs in different parts of the country. And that was extremely useful because that helped me realize the difference between studying science and actually doing science. Because when you're doing science, you're typically just laying a very small brick in a very large edifice, and you often don't see the full picture of what you're doing. But when you're studying science, you see the full, you read the whole story once it's complete. And there's a big difference there, and it really helped me by doing these short stays in labs to understand that difference. And at the end of it, I realized that I did in fact like doing science as well as studying science. And so after my undergraduation, I went on to do a PhD. And by that time, I had read some more very nice popular science books about neuroscience. In particular, one which I really liked is called Phantoms in the Brain. And as a result, I did my PhD in neuroscience, which was, again, a very exciting experience because some of the experiments I was doing there involved putting electrodes into the brain of a rat as it was freely moving around and smelling different things. And when what you can do is hook up the electrode to a speaker, and so you can actually hear the sound of neurons firing. And whenever the rat would go and smell one particular object, the neuron would go brrr, and it was really an awe-inspiring moment to see this, to actually peep inside the brain of an animal as it's thinking and doing things. And that's what my lab now does as well. So I went on and I'm now a group leader, and my lab studies. We look into the brains of mice as they are thinking and solving problems. We record from the activity of thousands of neurons. We then go in and switch on or switch off some neurons to see what it does to the thought process of the animal. And and then it's, I think, a particularly exciting time to be a neuroscientist because the tools and technologies which are opening up, which are becoming available, are really opening up the possibilities to do some really fascinating experiments. And which is, we are trying to do a little bit of that in my lab. And yeah, it's a really exciting and fun process. So that's how I got here. Thank you for listening.